So we're going to talk a little bit about Facebook ads, a little bit about email marketing, Shopify, and conversion rate optimization. So I have been in Facebook ads, Google ads, email marketing, social media marketing, branding, product research, customer psychology, operations team, customer service team. I've been on all of those things for numerous years. When you're building a Shopify brand and you're starting from the kitchen or the living room, possibly the garage, if you're so set up, it's fun. It's definitely a lot of fun. It can be tough if you're the type of person who only likes to do one thing. I fortunately don't mind engaging in lots of different skills. I don't mind taking consultation calls with professionals, asking them how they would handle situations. I don't mind jumping into YouTube or Reddit or asking people on Twitter, or just sometimes just bombing it and saying, hey, listen, I'm going to give it a shot. I don't know what to do here, but I'm just going to do something and I'll see what happens. Probably that would be the best bet, I would say, with Shopify, Klaviyo, Facebook ads, is just dive in, just start doing it. And once you get, a little bit of a semblance of what you're doing, then you can go to YouTube and start looking around. If you run out of depth on YouTube, which is pretty difficult, I would say, if your search skills are good, you could probably go to YouTube and, really run an 8-figure brand with the skills just on YouTube that are free. But there's a lot of information out there and it's hard to sift through sometimes. So I'm not going to say it's easy. I do tend to say sometimes that DTC is easy. That's probably because I worked in a mine when I was in my 20s. I've worked in construction. I've worked all kinds of tough jobs. So for me, even though it is a little bit, can be difficult, I consider it to be easy. So like I was saying, if you jump into YouTube, if you get into a Reddit on a specific subject and you avoid all the negative nonsense that goes on and the scam DMs that you might get, I wouldn't say turn off your DMs. That's the first thing I would say. Don't turn off the DMs, because I've gotten priceless information from places like Reddit, Twitter, Instagram through DM. Instagram, yes. I would say maybe no professional DM'd me through Instagram, more that I asked for some piece of content. Somebody sent me like a guide and there was good info in there. And that's just the free stuff. I've also spent 5 figures on courses. I took courses that were $2,000 5 years ago. I took a bunch of courses that were $50 or $150. I took a few that were $500. I've taken courses that were $750. I've taken courses that were $1,500, and I've even taken a course that was $12,500. And I've gotten value out of all of them. I wouldn't badmouth any of those courses. There is one course in particular that I wouldn't recommend to everybody, just because I feel like the information was out there free. But I'm not even going to say who it was, because I think that that's bad style. If you're in the market for information and you investigate, I think usually you're not going to be disappointed. And if you are disappointed, maybe tell the guy that you're disappointed or the girl that you're disappointed and say, hey, I want my money back. Otherwise, I'm going to tell other people that you suck. Maybe that will work. But me personally, I haven't taken any courses that I would demand my money back from yet. And I've taken courses that was regurgitated information that I felt like I have seen this piece and that piece. I think I've taken a whole course. I took a 4-week course where an entire week I had known about a year before I took the course. I still wouldn't ask for my money back because it was good practice. So, we got courses out of the way. I would say there's a lot of books. If you want, hit me with a DM in the comments. I have a list of books on a spreadsheet from this guy. His name is @FixYourMarketing. It's Google Sheet. There's like 5 different tabs on it. There's probably like 50, 60 books there. I could highlight my choices in there that I would say read these in the first year or two. I'm probably 25% of the way through with this list, 5 years in. So it's no rush to read the books. You read the books as you go and you learn and you put into execution. I would say that it's more important to execute than it is to read. So if you are thinking about doing stuff, I wouldn't even buy one book before you start. I would just jump in and open up a Shopify store, connect Klaviyo, connect Facebook ads, put some pictures up of your product and just start selling. Then go from there. You can start reading books. You can start watching videos. You can start doing everything that you can possibly think of. But bias toward action is a good cliche saying. Have a bias towards action instead of a bias towards learning, and you will be better off. Next, I would like to talk about what you should do first with a Shopify store. Photographs, very important, but bias to action, just put up what you got. Write a good description of your product. ChatGPT is your friend here. but go in there and edit a little bit because you don't want just a straight ChatGPT description of your product. Then beg your customers to leave reviews. Absolutely do not leave any fake reviews. Please don't leave any fake reviews. People spot those things a million miles away. I recently audited a store and I DM'd the owner immediately and said, hey, listen, man, do you have any fake reviews in there? And he was like, yeah, I had a couple of reviews that we wrote that were like recycled things. We heard word of mouth through customers in an email. And I'm like, dude, just take the line that they gave you out of the email and put it in. Don't make it a review. You know what I mean? Just for copy-wise. Like he was basically saying, you know, he got an email and there was a couple of lines of discussion about the product, but it wasn't awesome. So he didn't feel comfortable taking the whole thing out. So he just took a couple pieces out and then made his own review. I was like, no, dude, don't do it. First of all, it's illegal. Yeah, it's illegal. So don't do it. Secondly, easily spotted. People know. They know about that nonsense. Actively pursue your customers who you have and ask them to leave a review. If anything, send them a screenshot of a review from another product that's similar and say, this is a great review of another product. We don't want you to send this back to us, but if you could describe in your own words like this review says about this product, not your product, but about some other product, in their own words, then that's cool too. You know, that's kind of aggressive. And if you're on Amazon, I wouldn't suggest that because Amazon's good at detecting that kind of stuff. But for Shopify, I would say it's fair game to send customers, you know, pre-written statements about your product and say, can you write a review? And if you agree with these statements, in your own words, put that statement in. That's fine to me. Manufacturing reviews from scratch, don't do it. Bad style, bad activity, just stay away from it. You could end up getting a lot of trouble with it anyway, so it doesn't work. There's no reason to do it. Let's move on. So beg, borrow, and steal so you can get some reviews. Don't steal. Beg, borrow, and cajole with discounts and such and that. I have a brand right now that we just started a couple weeks ago. We have 13 or 15 sales so far. 0 reviews. I am sending out to customers, hey, you know, we are a brand new brand. We really could use your help. Here is 20% off coupon. If you would please just go and leave us an honest review. We are not even asking for a positive review. We are only asking for an honest review because we could use your feedback. And that's, I think, a great thing to do. Next thing that I would do is set up your email flows. Go into Klaviyo, open up a Klaviyo account, connect the two together. I'll make a video about how to connect Klaviyo to Shopify. Fairly easy project. You could ChatGPT it, spit it out. You could ChatGPT it. They'll give you a pretty good guide. I'm going to make a video about it. I have a guide up on my website, I believe. That does the same thing where it basically just lays out like these are the steps to take, but you can do it with ChatGPT. You don't need my guide is, I think, $19. You can buy it though. Head over there and purchase now. After you connect Klaviyo flows, you know, you've enabled 5 or 6 flows. Welcome, abandoned cart, abandoned checkout, viewed product, post-purchase, and the brain doesn't work that well at my age. There is more flows, but I'm not remembering. Like a loyalty flow, the post-purchase flow could have a few things in it, like birthdays, or you know, a lot of different good ideas, but the basic execution would be abandoned cart, abandoned checkout, viewed product, welcome. Those 4 are a necessity. Please don't run ads unless you have those 4 flows in operation. So let's say that you have your store up and running, you have some photographs, you got some reviews, and you have your Klaviyo connected, the pixel is firing properly, you've made sure that everything's working. The next thing I would do is connect your Instagram and Facebook Business Manager to Shopify. And I would begin to just post the journey. I would post, this is what we're doing, this is how we're doing it, this is why we're doing it, this is what we're doing, which is the product, of course. What is the product? And I wouldn't focus on what. Don't focus on the product. I would, in the beginning, focus on why you made the product, what the problem it solves is, because that's more important than the what, in my opinion. I would focus on how you're doing it, because people get interested in how things are made. And if you are close to the manufacturing process, my gosh, the value in that. You know, I've seen brands who have the ability to shoot tons and tons of content of the product being manufactured, and they don't do it. And it's a huge loss, in my opinion. If you have the ability to get to your factory or to ask your factory to make some videos, in reality, you want to go down to the factory. You know, you want to do the old selfie stick, like, hey, here I'm at the factory. And then as you're walking off the street, go into the factory with the selfie stick, then maybe turn it around and be like, this is production. You don't have to be their only customer You don't even have to be their biggest customer. You just have to be a customer, obviously. Don't lie about it. But going into the factory, letting people know you have access to the inner workings of why this product is made, or not why, but how this product is made, very important in my opinion. You can do it with stock footage. Say you make cotton t-shirts, like something like this. You could go to stock footage and be like, this is how they pick cotton, and this is how they mill cotton into yarn, or how they convert cotton from cotton to yarn. And this is how yarn is knit or milled, I can't remember what they say, into a fabric, and this is how the fabric is cut. This is how the fabric is sewn, and you can have a little sewing machine go in there, like this is how the fabric is packaged, and you have them put it in whatever packaging you're using. This is how the fabric is shipped, and you show somebody boxing it, and then you could dovetail that into a UGC with an influencer or anybody who ordered your product. Just make sure it's somebody who ordered your product. Even if it was gifted, just make sure it's not you being like, here's my product that I made, because you already made a founder video, I'm sure, so you don't want to make a video of you opening up your own product. Once you get those steps in place, and this could be months or even years depending on how slow or fast you move, I would say it's a great idea to start working on conversion rate optimization. And that is the science of studying how to make people purchase your product more often with less friction, I would say. That's a bad choice of words, more often. How to help people purchase your product with less friction. That's the idea between conversion rate optimization. It looks at the customer journey, how people discover you, why they discovered you, then the science of studying the product page and the collection page and checkout, and where people maybe drop off or where they fall headlong into your funnel. And these are things that might take a little bit more expertise, for instance, than Facebook ads or email marketing. I would say in the hierarchy of things, I am a Facebook ads expert. I consider myself an expert at this point. I've spent millions of dollars on Facebook. I would say that Facebook ads is one of the easiest things you could do. Shopify, opening up a Shopify is pretty easy too. Email marketing, a little tougher in some respects, just because retention and copy and display, like visuals, for instance, graphics, deliverability. There's more complication in my book to email marketing, and I wouldn't call myself an email marketing expert. I know a fair bit about it. I have designed some emails, I have sent some flows, I have set up flows, and quite a few stores at this point. But I wouldn't classify myself as an email marketing expert in the execution. Definitely in the audit, I'm very useful, and I can provide a lot of value in an audit. And conversion rate optimization, I would say, is a little more difficult than the three things I mentioned before, which were Shopify, Klaviyo, or Shopify email marketing, Facebook ads. So conversion rate optimization, I think, is a little bit more study needed. You can, in the very beginning of conversion rate optimization, looking at your website, you can make great strides. Very easy to make great strides. But once you get to a certain level in conversion rate optimization and you need to start A/B testing, if you have the ability to A/B test because you have enough traffic running to the site, that's awesome. If you don't, you have to go with best practice, and maybe you can use Clarity or Hotjar or Dylan Anders' product, which I will drop a link in the comments. He's a great guy. I've gotten a lot of value at Dylan. Heatmap, yes, heatmap.com. He's got a great product. If you've gotten to that point where conversion rate optimization is now something that you're actively pursuing, I would say that requires a little bit more study once you go beyond the very simple best practices. One of the first things the biggest wins from your copy, in my opinion, an offer. So you're going to study the offer, which could be, hey, we're offering our product at 10% off with a money-back guarantee and service, depending on what you're selling, obviously. Monthly service, subscription service, all of those things come into play. That's the offer. And the offer is probably the biggest and the easiest win, but it's also early on. If you're in the sixes still, I would say devote yourself to offer. Once you've gotten to the 7 and 8 figure annual numbers, probably most likely have the offer dialed in for at least a few of your products. Maybe not all of the products, but you definitely have the offer dialed in for some products if you're doing 30, 50, 80 million a year. Even at, I would say, 8 or 9 million, you probably, unless it's a high ticket item, you probably have the offer pretty dialed in, and maybe there's not going to be a ton of wins there. Could be wrong. But copy, PDP copy, is going to be a huge win for you if you're at that stage. In the 8 or 9 million, taking a look at the copy on page, trying to figure out what's making people buy, looking at the reviews, looking at the email correspondence, looking at text messages, looking at returns, trying to figure out why people return things, talking to customers, then putting all of that information concisely into a small area on the PDP is going to be a huge win in the early stages of CRO. Once you've gotten beyond that and you need to move to testing, A/B testing, I would say it might be time to bring in a firm or an expert who can run A/B tests for you. That would be my estimation. And once you have brought all of those things together and you are shipping product constantly and doing customer service and releasing new products and testing out Google ads maybe at that point, I always recommend people stay with one channel, which is Facebook ads in the very beginning. That's my personal opinion. If you're going to run Google ads, I would say if you have a product that lends itself to Google Shopping, that's great. You have to be pretty sophisticated, in my opinion, with Google to know if brand terms and competing on brand terms with other brands is incremental or not. And that requires two levels of sophistication. Now, first of all, you're going to have to be sophisticated enough to run an incremental test and devise that test. So that's fairly sophisticated marketer, in my opinion. Then you as well have to be sophisticated in Google ads to know the data and to set the ads and the ad sets and the campaigns correctly. And if you've done all of that at that point, then I would say Google is, if you have those abilities, Google's a great platform for some brands, not for all brands. So that's why I recommend that you kind of push Google off to the future. You can run YouTube. I would say definitely certainly set up a Google Merchant Center for the free ads, set up a feed. That could be next on the list. Put all of that out there. Maybe you want to test running some retargeting, which is a fairly simple effort, making sure that it's not a PMAX, because PMAX is going to lean heavily towards your brand terms and you won't know it. So if you've done all of those things, I would go right back to the beginning and start optimizing email marketing, Facebook ads, then go back to CRO. And those, to me, in my opinion, are the three pillars of e-commerce that I am involved in. The brands that I work with do another channel of sales, which is wholesale. We sell boutiques. That's something that the agency that I work with is an expert at. The agency that I've been in since 2000 has been open since 2000, and the agency that I work with has been doing wholesale to retail boutiques around the country since 2008, and they are really experts at that effort. So in my opinion, this is a huge strength. It's not something a lot of brands can pull off. For the most part, it's an agency thing, I would say. And if you are interested in an agency running your retail boutique business for you, in other words, not us selling your clothes in a retail boutique, but us selling your brand to a retail boutique, you could contact me either through DM or you could email me at Johnny, J-O-A, at Showroom Delfina, SHOWOOM Delfina, DELFINA. So if you've done all those things and you have any questions along the way, you can either send me a DM or an email at that email address. And I'm going to be doing a series now for a while. We'll see. It might take me a while to get another one out, but I'm going to be doing a series on digital marketing. I'll have some pieces about each individual discipline, and eventually I will have something about retail boutiques as well. Thank you.